Hey guys, what's up? My name is Gabe and this is Games with Gabe. If you recall from the last Python tutorial, we went over this thing called dictionaries, and how you can store these things called key value pairs, and basically you can look up something by a key and a value and store unique values inside of this dictionary to keep track of different counts and whatever else, usernames, other things. Really useful data structure. And then I asked you to do this problem, which was count letters in a file name, where basically you have a dictionary full of letters and counts, and I want it to be how many letters are in the file name. So I will go over how I would do this. I would say define count letters file name, which is the file name. Then I would say dictionary equals empty, and then copy this because this is good for me. And then this basically just says for every letter, we're setting the dictionary for that letter to 0. And then what we would do is I would say, so f equals open the file name for reading. And I would say for line in f, for char in line. I'd say dictionary char.lower, because I want them all to be lowercase, equals dictionary char.lower plus 1, so just increment it by 1. Then I would say return that dictionary. Let's try this out. We will say print count letters, and then my file name, which is test.txt, and that's just that simple file with like the lazy red fox thing. Then I will say Python, run this, and we get a key error, and it says key error space is not a key. So what's happening is it sees these spaces and it's saying this doesn't exist in the dictionary. So simple way to fix that is we can just say, instead of doing for char in line and then immediately going and incrementing that by 1, we'll say if dictionary.get char does not equal none, and then you don't need parentheses here. So if this does exist, then we will increment it by 1. And then we'll run this one more time, and we get the count. There's 1A, 3Ds, 5Es, so on and so forth. This is the file I'm using. So 1A, 3Ds, so on and so forth. So that works perfectly. If you guys did it a different way, that's fine. Multiple answers, there's no one right answer. So this is just how I would do it. In this tutorial, what I'm going to be going over is this thing that is a common problem in programming. So up to this point, we've sort of been going over data structures, core principles, all that type of stuff, just programming basic knowledge. Now what I want to start doing is sort of going into algorithms. How do specific algorithms work? How do you do certain things? Because there are a lot of common problems that have popped up that programmers have already spent decades trying to solve. One of these problems is sorting. It's a very common utility that you need a lot. Think about it. You go onto YouTube, you say sort by newest to oldest. You go onto Amazon, you say sort by lowest price to highest price. You go on to Instagram, you want to sort your posts by newest to oldest, you want to sort everything. So this is a problem that programmers have run across very commonly, and then we're going to be going over the simplest iteration of this, which is just a list of numbers. So say you have a list of like certain numbers, and then I say I want this list to be sorted increasing order. So then you would say, okay, this is what I want. Return is 0, 5, 12, 21, 34, 100. And this is that list in increasing order. And then we're going to be going over a common technique, which is called bubble sort, which is a very simple algorithm. I'll go over and draw how this actually works. Bubble sort is a common sorting algorithm. It's probably the simplest one. It's really easy conceptually to understand. Basically what it does is, say you have this list of numbers 5, 1, 4, 2, and 8. And you want to sort these. What bubble sort does is it literally just loops through the list, and if the number on the right is greater than the number on the left, it swaps them, and it goes through the whole list and does this, and then it keeps doing this until it does not swap any numbers, and then it knows that it is sorted. So basically, it would go, it has 5, 1, 4, 2, 8, and it would say, okay, 5 and 1 is greater than 5, or 5 is greater than 1, so it'd say swap. And then we have 4, 2, 8. Then it would say, well, 4 is greater than 4, 5 is greater than 4, so we would swap. So 1, 4, 5, 2, 8. Then it would go, well, 5 is greater than 2, so swap. 1, 4, 2, 5, 8. And then it would say, these are fine, so do nothing. But since we had to swap at least once in this iteration, we will go again. So then we go, okay, 1, 5, 4, and then this is the current state of the list now. So then we would say 1, 4, 2, 5, 8. So 1 and 4 are fine, but then 4 is greater than 2, so swap. So we'd say 1, 2, 4, 5, 8. And then we do nothing throughout the rest of it because all the numbers are fine. But since we had to swap, we know it's sorted, but the program doesn't know that. So it has to go one more time, and then it loops through, sees if it swaps anything, realizes that it doesn't have to swap anything. And so it says, okay, the list is sorted, we're good. This is basically what we're going to be doing. It's really easy to implement. It's not too hard conceptually to understand. I mean, you're just running through it again and again, swapping numbers on the left and the right until you end up with a sorted list, which is pretty easy to understand. So let's code this, see how it actually works. The first thing I would do is I would say define bubble sort, because that is the sorting algorithm we're using, and then it takes in a list of numbers. So list of numbers. Then what I would say is basically, so we'll define this variable called swap, and this basically just tells us if we've swapped or not. And we'll say swap is false. We have not swapped. Then we'll say while we have swapped, actually we should initialize this to true. Pretend we have swapped, and then we will say while we have swapped, so we swap something, we'll loop through the list. So we'll say for number in, actually we're going to do this using an index. So we'll say for I in range length of this list of numbers. And basically what this just does is it gives us the length of the list of numbers, and then we can index directly into the numbers. I can't remember if I've gone over this, but basically this will be index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, and index 5. And so we will use these indices to loop through it instead. And we will say current equals list of numbers I. So this is which number we're currently on. And then I will say next number equals list of numbers I plus 1. We want to do something important here. What if we get to here and we say I plus 1, that would be 6, which would be here, but it doesn't exist. So instead of looping through the length of the list of numbers, we should do that minus 1 to ensure that we don't run over and end up with an error. So we have current, we have next number. We will say if the next number is greater than current, then swap equals true. And then also what we want to do here is we want to say swap equals false, because we want to start it off. We haven't swapped anything yet, but then if we get to here and we do have to swap, we'll say swap equals true. And then we'll say TMP equals current, so temporary. And then we say current, so list, actually we don't even need that temporary. We can just say list numbers I equals next number, so we're putting next number there. And we'll say list numbers I plus 1 equals current. So basically we're just swapping them, right? We're just saying, okay, this index is now the next number, and then the next number, index plus 1, is now current. So we just do a simple swap, and then we say swap is true. And this will continue until it is done swapping. We don't need to return anything. Interesting thing about Python is lists are these things called immutable types. I believe that's the term. I might be wrong. But basically what that means is if you change it anywhere in the program, it changes it everywhere in the program. It's kind of weird, but I'll show you an example of how that works. But basically, let's just do this, and then we'll say define main. This is our main program, and then we'll say bubble sort. We'll say bubbles. Well, okay, we'll say list of numbers equals 1, 5, 2, 4, 8. So the example we used, and then we will say print. Well, we'll say bubble sort that list of numbers, and then we will say print that list of numbers. Then down here, we will call main. Okay, let's go down here, clear that, and then let's say Python main, see what happens. And it says 8, 5, 4, 2, 1. So it's sorted, but it's sorted in the wrong way. They said if next number is greater than current, that should be less than. Clearly, because we sorted the wrong way. Let's run this one more time. There we go. Now we got 1, 2, 4, 5, 8. So the program is working exactly as you would think. Just so that we can see it every step of the way, we will print here, just print a bunch of equal signs so that we know we're at a new for loop. And then inside of here, once we finish all of our swaps, well, yeah, yeah, we'll print it every single time we're swapping. So after we swap, we will say print the list of numbers. Whoops, numbers. And then once right before we return, we'll just print one more equal sign, and we'll print that twice so that we know it's done. So let's run this one more time. This is just that we can see it step by step what it's doing. So you see it has 1, 5, 2, 4, 8. Does the first swap, it swaps 5 and 2. Then it swaps 4 and 5, just like we said it would. And then it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 8. And it's done. But since it's swapped, we don't know if it's done or not. Then it goes through, runs it one more time. It does not swap at all in this run, and then it returns. Let's give it a little bit more complicated. We will throw in a 3 right here, a 22, 21, -5, and 0. Let's see what happens when we do this. Run this one more time. Okay. And the print output is a little bit bigger, as you can see. So first run, it says 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, 21. So this is just the normal. It swaps 2 and 5. Then we see it goes, and then it swaps 4 and 5 right here. And we see it goes, it swaps 3 and 5. Then it leaves 5 and 21 fine, because those are fine. Then it swaps -5 and 21. Then it swaps 0 and 21. Then it swaps 8 and 21. Next iteration. So we go through. This is normal. Then it swaps -5 and 2. Then it swaps 0 and 2. Then it swaps, nope, those are all sorted. So then it just goes through and it's fine. And it goes through the rest of the numbers, so it just runs a bunch more times. And then we go through -5, 0, 1, 4, and then it's all sorted and everything. So it's now completely sorted. I think it might have skipped a few steps in here, but that's the basic concept. This is how it works. This is the sorting algorithm. This is all well and good. For the problem that I want you guys to try in this one, it's going to be another sorting algorithm, except it's going to be with letters. If I go into Python, one of the neat things you can do is, like, if I say A is less than B, it prints true. B is less than A, prints false. So you can actually compare letters, and it compares them in alphabetical order. What I want you to do is create a bubble sort that takes in a bunch of letters. Yeah, just a bunch of letters. And basically, let's make this a little bit harder. So easy version, it takes in a list that looks like this: A, Z, B, X, W, and then it sorts this list. Hard version, it takes in a list of names: Gabe, Sarah, Minnie, I don't know, Henry. Takes in a list of names, sorts these according to the first letter only. So just the first letter, you don't care about the rest of it. So it's not going to be true alphabetical order, but it will be somewhat alphabetical order. That's the hard version. And what I want this function to look like is basically sort my list of letters or list of strings, and then it will return that list, whatever this list is, but it won't return anything. It'll just sort these and it'll work. So try that out, see if you can get it done. Real quick before I close this though, I want to basically go over why I said this thing called immutable types and why we don't have to return the list. That's because say you do something like this: A equals a list 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we say B equals A. What would you expect to happen? Well, in my mind, I expect it to copy this, to just copy it and then store it in B, but it's not actually what happens. We say B equals A, and what do we get? We say it's true. So if we say print B, print A, you'll see it prints the same thing. And if I say B0, so the first index is 5, and then we print B, it says 5, 2, 3, 4, which is what we would expect to happen. But if we print A, it's also changed A. And that's because it's actually the list, we're just handing around references to them because it'd be too hard to actually copy the whole thing. That takes a long time. So instead we're just like, hey, here, I'll reference this list, but it's this list. And they're basically, instead of passing the whole thing, they're just saying, here's like where it's at and everything. You just figure everything else out from there. And so it's faster, but it also creates this thing where you have immutable types where they basically are the same thing. It is B is A. If you wanted to do that differently, A equals 1, 2, 3, 4, you could see B equals A dot copy. And if we print A, print B, they're the same thing once again, but then if I say B0 equals 5, print B, B0 is 5, and then print A, it did not change A. So you have to actually do that whole copy operation, which is why when we pass it in here, it doesn't change it, because we are just handling with the list that was passed in. They're just like, hey, here's this list. And you're like, okay, cool. I know where this is at and everything. I'm just going to start changing things on that list itself instead of copying everything. So that's why that happens. If you guys like this, please hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comments below and I will try and answer those. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. See ya.